What is this, Prime Month? Bow weep, grind out, weep, ninny on YouTube. Red, White, and Bluestreak here, and I have Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. For real this time. Ever since the very conception of Studio Series 86, this has been the most anticipated figure. So, after all of that, does it live up to the hype? And the price point? Or perhaps even a little bit higher than retail price, because I got this early from Toy Dojo for just shy of $100, so... yeah! The packaging here certainly lives up to the hype. Marcelo Mater, did I pronounce that right? Marcelo Mater, that sounds right. I really hope I pronounced that right. Well, anyways, he was in his bag with this figure's art, as well as the other figures in this wave, but this figure especially. You know, personally, I thought the background and the moment that they would have chosen for this figure would have been when he was exiting the shuttle in the movie. You know, Megatron must be stopped and all that. And that moment is portrayed on the side of the box, but of course they'd go with quite possibly Optimus Prime's most iconic pose of all time, next to... The packaging is glorious, and I'm just glad Prime didn't get the cup treatment with his packaging and background. That being said, I wouldn't be opposed to another gray version of this mold hitting store shelves. This figure comes packaged in robot mode, and what a glorious robot mode it is. But it ain't perfect. No, it's not the backpack, I can excuse that, which, by the way, the backpack is slightly mistransformed out of the box. Just make sure to fold in these little side pieces here and it cleans up the figure just that much more. And along with that, the colors and proportions are absolutely perfect, somehow drastically improving on Earthrise's design by giving us what can essentially be considered the affordable MP44. Though, side note, I've heard that there are some paint chipping issues with the faceplate and the ab section, so be careful there. Everything here looks absolutely spot on with appropriate compromises. The only thing I have a slight dislike for is the head. It's very MP10-esque, and to be honest, I would have preferred something closer to MP44, especially since this is supposed to be representing how he appeared in Transformers the movie. Methinks DNA Design is going to include that in the inevitable upgrade kit, though that being said, there are already several head upgrade kits on eBay all over the place. I'm planning on purchasing one myself. Oh, yeah, and the heels are upside down or some crap like that, I don't know. Now, even though I kind of hinted at the fact that this is the poor man's MP44, I can't really say that when it comes to the articulation. Sure, you've got them going the extra mile with janky butterfly joints and the hands, but MP44 still has a much better ab crunch than Studio Series 86's non-existent one. But the ab crunch isn't really something that I'm going to complain about. I will complain about how the butterfly joint looks. It just completely breaks the sculpt and looks just really weird. And I will also, of course, complain about the absolutely abysmal head articulation on this figure. It's an unfortunate trend with a lot of Studio Series figures we've looked at lately. And I get it, man, you're afraid to mar the back of the heads with visible ball joints, but in that case, just go with some alternate form of engineering to achieve the necessary articulation. You've already gone this far to make this Tiny Tim's MP44. You might as well borrow the neck joint from that figure to make the head articulation that much better. Now, I'm obviously making the biggest of mountains out of the smallest of molehills, because besides that, this figure is able to pull off just about any pose that you'd want to do to recreate something from the show or movie, especially with the help of its accessories. Bringing back the M Poverty 44 comparison here, this figure comes with a lot. No wonder he costs so much. We've got the usual suspects here. The Ion Blaster, the Energon Axe that has a pretty neat way of pegging into the hand, the Matrix, which has a much more accurate but woefully unpainted chamber, the much more appropriately proportioned gray plastic box that helps to justify the price point, You know the drill by now. We've reviewed quite a few Optimus Primes on this channel. But this Prime, like Ultra Magnus, comes with a couple of blast effects that are compatible with the Ion Blaster and the anti-aircraft gun from the trailer that luckily didn't come warped on my copy. Or at least not too warped. I've heard that the warping is a pretty big issue with this figure, regardless of where you get it from or what wave of production you're getting it from, so just be wary about that. You might have to straighten out some soft plastic. He also comes with Roller, who can also tow the trailer, which is always a nice touch, and another set of blast effects that are much more relevant in the truck mode. You know the song, you know the lyrics, yeah! It's been almost 40 years since this movie has premiered, but you still know the song. When you hear those first 4 notes, no matter if your ears are closed, you can't escape the song. Even if you're annoyed, but you're bobbing along. When you transform this toy, bet you're singing along. You know the song, you know the lyrics. Because of copyright, I can't play the same song by Stan Bush. But you know the words, you can't deny it. Whether or not you're a fan, you know the song. When you've had a crappy day, wanna turn it the other way, so you might sing this. If you don't want to get a strike, you can use this song, alright, please just do credit me. I just don't know how they do it. How on earth do Hasbro, Takara, and every other third-party company that have dared to tackle the simplistic and masterful design that is Generation 1 Optimus Prime manage to put their own unique spin on the transformation no matter how many times they tackle it? The transformation is obviously familiar in some places, and downright predictable to an extent, with only one part that makes me a teensy bit nervous. But it still has twists and turns with how this is engineered that keep people like me on their toes. And it all culminates in this absolutely beautiful truck mode. This is probably the best this truck mode has looked outside of Masterpiece. The shades of red and blue, along with the relatively clean truck bed and cartoon-accurate design, really make this mode shine. And the bottom of the truck looks great too, which is a huge plus considering that we finally have an official way to recreate that one time when Optimus launched up from his truck mode into the most referenced pose in all of Transformers media, which might also be a Gundam reference, I don't know. Honestly, it feels like every Prime has to do this pose at least once. Also, for those who care, like me, all the blast effects and accessories can be stored in the trailer either in the wheel well or in the actual trailer itself, which looks fantastic with the core robot and rolls very well on plastic wheels. Side note, if you own Legacy G1 Optimus Prime, he too can tow the trailer, though it looks a little off. Alright, let's put it back where it came from, or so help me, so I can give this figure my final rating. This figure is easily the best Generation 1 Optimus Prime that we've ever gotten from Hasbro and Takara. Outside of Masterpiece, but I mainly give Masterpiece an edge due to the articulation. But the perfect Optimus Prime figure? The head sculpt leaves a bit to be desired, as does the articulation at the head compared to Earthrise or even some other Studio Series figures, so I can't exactly say that. Maybe perfect for that scale, but perfect in general, that still goes to Magic Square's Light of Peace. But that being said, this figure is pretty close. 4.5 out of 5 is going to be my final rating for the figure, and I wholeheartedly recommend that you get this figure if you can, which, considering how few times I've actually seen this figure on store shelves or in stock online, that's probably a pretty big if.